of the Alatra Unites International Public Movement. The graceful and the glorious peoples who have initiated a great task to be accomplished only for the sake of humanity. And as such, we know that the basic component particle of our society is the human being. And the human beings unite together to formulate a community. And the various communities get together into the forms of the various states around the world. As such, we have 198 or 200 countries around the world. A humankind person is the one who has self-identified himself, who has explored himself, who knows his pros and cons, who knows what are his responsibilities and obligations, who knows what does he has to do, who knows what is the purpose of coming into this world for the peoples of this world. To let them know that their lives are precious, their lives are to be loved. There shall not be any consumerist society. There shall be a creative society where there shall be peace, prosperity, progress, where there shall not be any aggression, any oppression, any terror, any horror, where there shall not be any prejudices, where everything shall be envisaged, everything shall be provided, every livelihood, the essentials of the lives. The education shall not be a piece of business, where the health shall not be a business, where the social services shall be provided without any cost, where there shall be employment for each and every person, where there shall be respect, honor, and dignity of each and every person, regardless of any social status, religion, or nationality. The creative society, the society for the peoples who are human beings. As such, we do know that every man is not the person in the eye of the law, logic, and Lord. So once the person has come to know his importance, he has come to know that there is nothing other than the services and other than being a human person. Once a person is not a human being, he is useless in this world. His livelihood is useless in this world. He is of no use. And the Alatra Unites, the mission of the Alatra Unites, the movement of the Alatra International Movement is only for the purpose to let the peoples get know their respective responsibilities, their respective obligated duties to be performed, so as to create a society where there shall not be any discrimination with anyone. And if we do understand our responsibilities, we can do it, we can perform it, we can make it possible. Every impossible thing could be made possible with the sincere and honest affairs, with the sincere and honest efforts. If we are sincere with ourselves, we can be sincere with our humankind. And once we are sincere with our humankind, we can understand that everything is going to be changed. If we are not going to change our mindset, if we kept ourselves being disintegrated, divided and bifurcated into various clans, communities, religions, our fate will be very fateless. Our fate will be very dangerous. We must know that the great God has created the person being superior than all other creatures which has been created by the great God. Once the man has been provided all the powers, he is predominant over all other creatures of the world, then why he is trying to be predominant over the human beings? He has been brought in this world to serve the human beings, not to predominate the human beings. to create a human society, not to create an evil society, not to create negativity, not to create a destructive and demolishing society. So let the peoples get together. Let the peoples, a man to become a person. And a person is the one who knows he himself, who identifies himself, who knows his negativities and positivities, and who breaks his negativities, who takes away his negativities, who stops his negativities, who promotes his positivities, and he tries to promote the positivities of other peoples too. He tries to gather all the peoples all around the world without any discriminations under the umbrella of Allah Unites to be a human being. Once we are a human being, there shall be no war, there shall be no prejudices, there shall be no hatred, no terror. And once we have created it, we can prove it, because everything is possible. Every impossible mission could be made possible with efforts, with the sincere efforts. And this is the main perspectives, the future perspectives of Allah Unites, that we must have to envisage a society where there shall not be any consumerist society, where there shall not be any consumerist format of society, where shall the education, health, social services, employments, housings, clothings, everything shall be available to each and every person. And every facility shall be available to each and every person, regardless of any discriminations. So once we have come to know that conclusively, if we are not going to perform all these things, we are going to suffer, we are going to perish away. Similarly, as the billions of years ago in the primordial era, billions of years ago, billions of other civilizations have perished away, only because of their odd and evil acts, only because they have violated the principles and the laws of nature, only because of the reasons that they became consumerists, they became materialists, they forgot their discipline, they forgot their honesty, they forgot their duties, and they tried to enslave the peoples. We have to get rid of the self-slavery, we have to get rid of the collective slavery, we have to get rid of the consumerist form of slavery, we have to get rid of this hatred and discriminations and bifurcations. And once we have got to know all these things, we can perform a glorious thing. What the peoples do understand, that once the peoples having a positive thinking, having a positive feeling, having a positive sense, they can make every impossible thing possible. So we are the peoples who know that our duty is to convey the reconnaissance, the self-awareness, the self-identifications, because the human being has been delegated all these spiritual powers. He has to just sort out his own spiritual powers, and collectively, once we have performed our duty and we have collected all the peoples, spiritually aware peoples around the world, we can enforce the peoples, we can enforce these state powers who are trying to bring wars among the nations. This is useless. This is of no positivity. This which has devastated the nations, the billions of the nations in the First World War and the Second World War. We cannot afford any Third World War. We have to stop it. We have to stop by the mindset. We have to stop it by the spirituality. We have to stop it by the peoples, by bringing reconnaissance among the peoples of the world, and to choose those peoples into their countries who to come for the peace, whose slogans is to peace. They should abandon the warfares, because billions of the dollars have been invested over these warfares, and warfares have brought nothing, but that has costed the billions of the dollars, and that has brought miseries, that has brought problems, difficulties, and destructions, and that has demolished the world, that demolished the mankind. Why there's a war in between the peoples on the basis of the religions when there's one God? But the God of each and every religion is one, when the message of each and every prophet is one single message of humanity. None of the prophet, none of the religion, none of the God's message, and none of the God's apostle has ever professed to create hatred for other peoples, to prove yourself being self-superior. None is self-superior. The superior is only great God, and we are all inferior to it. We have to negate ourselves, to negate our sins, to negate our evil and odd things. We have to bring positivity in ourselves, and we have to spread it and to reconnect it around all the peoples who are self-aware all around the world, to bring a society of peace and humankind. And that is possible. That's not impossible. Because in the world today, we can understand that where we have now arrived. We have arrived at the brink of floods. Why there are miseries, why there is oppression, why there are wars, why there are people who are suffering with this hunger, poverty, and starvations. Why we are divided into this consumerist format of society, which has destroyed and devastated the people's lives, which has brought miseries to the people's lives, which has brought no positivity to the people's life. Why the people do not understand, because it's our failure. We are not performing our duties, and each and every person in each and every language, in each and every area of our planet. This planet is only one planet. Do we know that one of the 9 planets is Earth, and Earth is revolving around the sun and along with 9 other planets. And this is not the only single solar system. There are billions of such sort of systems revolving around the cosmos. And the process of evolution is undergoing around the universe, not only in this planet Earth, in the technologies brought by the mankind or by the peoples or by the humans. This is not the technology of Microsoft, or not the technology of warfare, which has evolved into a very modern and ultra-modern form. Do we know that the process of evolution is undergoing around the entire universe? And once the entire universe is undergoing the process of evolution, then it's proved that this mortal world is going to end and it's going to transfer into the phase of immortality. We are in the transitional phase. Why don't we understand it? And even though we are blind, deaf, dumb, and dead, we are professing the war, we are professing the discriminations. Why? Only because of the reasons to prove our self-superiority. And this is one of the things which creates no sense. We have to be peoples. We have to be peoples of services. We have to serve each other. We do not have to impose our rules and regulations on other peoples. Let the peoples have the right of mutual self-determinations. Once we deserve the prosperity. Once we have deserved, we have understood and we have accepted the right of self-determination and the right of self-coexistence of each and every person, nation, nationalities, clans, communities, ethnic, national, or ethnic, racial groups. And once this clergy has brought the miseries. The clergy of each and every religion has brought the miseries to the world. They are only trying to profess their own self, being a self-superior, superior than all of them, and none is superior. The superior is only the great God. If you do not understand it, okay, let the atheist people say something. If you do not understand the great God, if you do not obey it, you say that there is no God. Okay, that there is no God, then if there is something superstitious, then you peoples, you can never stop. Can you stop these storms? Can you stop these hurricanes? Can you stop these tornadoes? You can stop nothing. Because it proves that the human power is sovereign. Human power is only to the extent to his own self. You can drive your own self to the negativity or the positivity. Every person in this world has been delegated the power of his own authority to drive himself either to the negative path or to the positive path, or at the mid-solar track. So we can drive our own self. We cannot impose these aspirations and ambitions over other peoples. Let the peoples think. Let the peoples create their own identifications, their own explorations, and they to come to the conclusions that there's no survival other than the thinkings of being a humankind, being a person of spirituality. There are only two clans in this world. One is a spiritual clan and one is a non-spiritual consumerist format of clan. Let the peoples understand this wisdom. And the wisdom is the authority. The majority is not the authority. The majority of the peoples who have no sense, the majority of the peoples who are trying to prove their superiority over other peoples or denying the rights of others, they're not the wisdom. They're not the authority. The authority pertains to great God, and the authority pertains to either is the nature, the laws and principles of the nature, or the laws and principles of the great God. What do you understand? Whatsoever, either way. But we do have to understand that we have to perform this duty. We have to let the peoples know and to gather them and to let them know that it is the end of the time and space. It is our duty to let the peoples understand that what is the purpose of man in this world, whether he wants to live as an animal or he wants to live as a human being. Because everyone is not alive. People are living like animals. They're living like animals, eating, residing, having a luxurious life, having a day, it's consumerist life. To come in this world and vanish away without any character, without any personality, personal objectives, without having collective wisdom, it is worthless. It means that we are like animals. Animals do come in this world and depart away. They have no purpose. Likewise, the majority of the peoples in the world, they are coming and living in the world of the consumerist society, the consumerist format of society. But they do not understand what is the objectives of their coming into this world, why they have been brought into this world, what is the purpose, what is the objectives, whether they want a society, what does we want, creative society, where there shall be a peace, progress, prosperity, where there shall be no discrimination, where there shall be no injustice, where there shall be equity, tolerance, endurance, mutual respect, where there shall be education without any cost, where the health should be provided, the health facilities should be provided to each and every person. There should not be business in the fields of education, health, social services, and other livelihoods where the person should have salaries and ample salaries and ample employments. And one who is jobless, he must have at least that facilities which each and every person, other persons are enjoying. This is a concept which can be made possible by the wisdom. What does we understand? If we do understand, we can do it. If we don't understand, we cannot do it. And it is not only in the hands of a single person. It's the collective wisdom, it's the collective duty, and it is the duty to be performed by each and every person of this society. What does mean the creative society? What does envisage the creative society? What is the purpose, the objective, and the scope of this creative society? This is not the capital society to accumulate the wealth and capital and to rule the peoples by way of terror, horror, by way of force. No, it does not mean that. It means to live within the hearts of the peoples with love, respect, and to congratulate each and every participant and volunteer of the Sanatana Unites. The society, the creative society, is not meant for any personal gain or interest. This is for the collective interest of the entire mankind. But we have to understand that the mankind has not been brought into this world only to eat, to live like animals and die. But you have to understand that there's a difference in between the animals and the human beings. As such, every person, every man is not the person in the eye of the law. And every person in this world
whose person in the ayat does understands he his responsibilities, he his obligations, does understands what are the obligations, rights, liabilities.
As such, the consumerist society has engulfed the blood of the mankind. Hence, the creative society, on the other hand, will produce and provide an atmosphere where there shall not be any oppression and separation of the right of the peoples, where there shall not be any prejudices, any hatred, any discrimination, where there shall not be any terror, any horror, any fear, where there shall not be any rule of any terror. As such, the consumerist society has not only misused its powers or engulfing the rights of the peoples all around the world at the one hand, and on the other hand, the consumerist format of society has placed the entire world at imminent stake, has placed the future and fate of the entire world at imminent stake. What has not to happen, and it can only be stopped once the peoples of Gujarat united get together and bring this awareness among the peoples. Let the peoples know their rights, let the peoples know their responsibilities, their obligations. There shall be a creative society where there be a human protection, there shall be a human life shall be protected, human rights of the humans shall be protected, and where there shall be a transparency and openness, where shall be there any chances of the development of the personality of the persons. The person should improve he himself or she himself. The person should know the inner sacredness and the inner powers. What connect a person with the spiritual powers and spirituality which reigns around the world. The spirituality which is entirely at most meeting divine principles, the divine principles and eternal principles and the immortal laws. The spirituality in which age of society which is endured with the spiritual divine powers, where the people finds their life happy with love, respect, mutual respect, self-identifications, and identifications of the surroundings.